Before we get started, I think it's only fair that I explain why I'm making this series. A while back, I stepped away from this channel. When I first started it, my goal was to share other people's stories, paranormal experiences, unexplained encounters, and those moments in life that stay with people because they never found an answer. I've always been fascinated by those kinds of stories, but after a while I realized something. I was spending so much time searching for everyone else's experiences that I was avoiding my own. There are things that happened to me growing up that I've carried for most of my life. Some of them I've never spoken about publicly. Some of them I've only shared with close friends or family. And some of them I convinced myself weren't worth talking about because I figured no one would believe me anyway. As the years went by, I tried to explain a lot of it away. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe it was because I had ADHD. Maybe it was the medication I was taking as a kid. Maybe there was a perfectly normal explanation for everything. The truth is, I still don't know. And honestly, I'm okay with that. So I decided to stop chasing everyone else's stories for a while and finally tell my own. Everything you're about to hear over this series is based on my childhood memories and my personal experiences. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to convince you that ghosts exist. I'm not here to prove the paranormal is real. I'm simply sharing what happened to me, the way I remember it. Memory is imperfect. Some conversations fade, some dates blur together. But there are certain moments in life that never leave you. Not because you understand them, but because you never could. Whether you believe these experiences were paranormal, psychological, coincidence, or something else entirely, I'll leave that up to you. My goal isn't to change your mind. My goal is simply to tell my story honestly. This is What I Remember, Episode 1, The Rattle Behind the Fireplace. Some memories fade with time. Others stay with you because you never found an explanation for them. If you drove past my childhood home, you probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. It wasn't old enough to look abandoned. It wasn't the kind of house people whispered about. To everyone else, it was just another family home in Southern California. Ordinary, quiet, forgettable. Looking back now, that's probably what makes everything that happened there so difficult to explain. The house sat behind a black metal security gate with hundreds of tiny perforations punched into it. You could see through the gate, but only just enough to make out the outline of the front porch. From there, a short concrete walkway led to a glass front door. When you stepped inside, you entered a narrow hallway no more than 3 feet wide. Straight ahead was the living room. To the right was the kitchen. Beyond the kitchen was what used to be the den. By the time I was old enough to remember it, that den had become my bedroom. It was easily the largest room in the house. Unlike the rest of the home, it still had its original marble floor. Years earlier, the rest of the house had been remodeled with carpet, but for whatever reason, that room never changed. It always felt colder. As a kid, I never thought much about it. Marble floors stayed cool. The room was closest to the backyard pool. It shared a different airflow than the rest of the house. Those explanations made perfect sense. At least they did back then. I was about 9 years old when the first experience happened. I can't tell you the exact date. I don't remember what month it was. Memory doesn't work that way. It holds on to emotions, not calendars. By then, I had already been diagnosed with ADHD. Like a lot of kids growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s, medication became part of my daily routine. On top of that, I suffered from seizures. That meant whenever I experienced something unusual, there was usually an explanation waiting for me before anyone had even finished listening. It's probably your medication. I heard those words often enough that eventually I started believing them myself. One afternoon, sometime between 3 and 4 o'clock, I was sitting on my bed playing with 2 action figures. Nothing special, nothing memorable, just another afternoon after school. The blinds were closed, but thin strips of sunlight pushed through the cracks, stretching across the marble floor like long golden ribbons. The television wasn't on. No music, no conversations, just silence. Then I heard it, a metallic rattle. At first I ignored it. Old houses make sounds. Air vents click, wood expands, pipes settle. You learn not to think much about it. Then it happened again, longer, louder. I looked toward the fireplace. The metal fireplace doors were moving, not vibrating, not trembling, shaking back and forth, hard enough that I could hear the metal striking against itself. For several seconds, I just stared. There wasn't any wind. No one else was in the room. Nothing that should have caused those doors to move. Even now, more than 20 years later, the thing I remember most isn't the movement. It's the feeling. For just a brief moment, it looked as though something on the other side wanted to get out. Then it stopped. The room fell silent again. I kept staring, waiting. Nothing else happened. So I did what most children would probably do. I picked up my toys and went back to playing. That might sound strange. Looking back, I think children have an incredible ability to normalize things they don't understand. If the adults around them don't panic, they usually don't either. Life just continues. Later that afternoon, I told my mother what had happened. I wasn't scared. I wasn't crying. I simply told her that the fireplace doors had started shaking by themselves. She listened. Then she smiled. "It's probably your medication." She wasn't trying to dismiss me. She was trying to reassure me. Given everything she knew, it was the most logical explanation. So I nodded, not because I believed her, but because I didn't know what else to believe. Looking back now, I don't think that afternoon changed the house. I think it changed me. Before that day, if I saw something, I believed I'd seen it. After that day, every strange experience came with another question. Did that really happen? Or was everyone else right? I didn't know it then, but that small moment, those few seconds, watching a fireplace door rattle for no apparent reason, would become the first page of a story I'd spend the next 20 years trying to understand. And at 9 years old, I had no idea it was only the beginning.